What up? And welcome to Daytime Talk After Dark. My name is Al Jackson, but that is unimportant. What is important is that I am joined by two of my favorite people in the world. Tory Shulman, how the hell are you?
I'm really good.
You seem really good.
I feel good.
You look like you got cast in like a Southern Hallmark movie where you go back home and the guy that you wanted to date in high school is like tending bar.
I'm like, is that Tristan Baldero from high school? Hey, Tristan.
That's it. And even though you're a big time New York City exec, you're ready to go back to small town living.
Tristan, are you taking me on a boat ride?
Well, because it turned out that his family actually has
Owns-
billions of dollars.
Yeah, they own the town.
Oh.
They own the town and the
Yeah.
boathouse.
Wait, what's the problem though? What's the consternation?
Well,
She gets a big promotion while she's there, and she has to decide
Hello?
to go back to New York City.
Oh, what? A
Yeah.
huge $24 million.
Yes. Now we're gonna double that 24.
48?
We need you tonight.
Tristan, our boat ride.
And scene. Erica Cobb. I love her so much.
that was amazing.
Thank you.
Brava.
Tristan.
Brava.
Tristan.
Wait, what's the name?
Tristan. Oh.
What's the name of the movie?
Oh. The lake house. The boathouse.
But that doesn't. You got to
Midnight at the boathouse.
city limits.
It's terrible.
It is bad. Erica, how are you?
I am great.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
where you been?
I think I want to hear all about this, by the
Oh,
way.
well, I was in DC this
Yes,
weekend.
hometown.
Yes.
No,
I was gonna open it for you.
No, you were
you
going to
jerk.
take it away.
I swear
No,
I
when
was.
Al asks to hold something, he's going to put it or throw it away.
That was the time I was actually gonna be nice, and you've ruined
That's a
it.
liar. Please go ahead,
See you
Erica.
in
Oh
another
no, no.
Excuse
So, yeah, I was in DC this weekend,
Shout out.
with my other podcast partner, Claudia Jordan.
I feel like
and-
we're in an open podcast relationship with
Yes,
Erica.
we are. We are.
And like we're just like
We're
don't,
your anchor, though.
just-
Yes,
right?
yes,
We're
yes.
your
we're
anchor.
fine telling us about it, but don't like rub it in our
Yeah,
face.
don't tell us
Yeah.
details.
Yeah.
I think it's
No,
called
so,
primary.
Primary
Yes.
or anchor. You can
I'm
do
like,
both.
well, I have to tell you details because I'm telling you what happened this
Yes.
weekend.
Tell us.
Yeah, so I went with Claudia, and she was hosting the Women's Songwriters Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
I hosted that last year.
No, you didn't.
Okay. Yeah, and there were, legends, and Claudia was great.
She looked great.
Yeah,
She looked
as
great.
always. I will take my credit because I steamed her dress.
Good job.
Yeah. I feel like there are just relationships that we have especially as women, where it's like you're doing something that I know what it's like to be in that position. Like, you're trying to get your glam done, you're trying to get dressed, and you don't necessarily have like a bunch of hands, and then you start sweating and then you start panicking.
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like so excited to be able to like
take that
help.
off of her.
Yes. Yeah.
The sweaty part I totally got.
Yes. So, so we were there, and then Dustin Ross, who is a comedian and a personality, he does a podcast with Claudia and Carlos King, the king of reality television, on Monday nights. So he was doing a show at the Miracle Theater.
Oh,
Yes, Tory knows all of these. Yeah.
okay.
So I stopped by there, and it was great. And then we all hung out after. So we're going to have Dustin on Accidentally Informed tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central. So you can check us out on YouTube. But it was such a great weekend. I texted Tori because I passed her dad's law firm.
And it looked good
Yeah. Oh, it's,
at the wharf.
oh my gosh. When, it's funny because like you kind of come up with like what something looks like or feels like based on, we've been talking about, like, Tori's been mentioning her dad's law firm
I'm very
for 8
proud.
years.
Very
Right.
proud.
But when I like passed it and I was kind of in that area, I did like a quadruple take because I never saw it looking like that. Like, I think I saw it looking more like an old library
Totally
or
get it.
something. It's like super first of all, it's super chic. It's very contemporary. It's in like a super hip part of town. Like I took a picture. I'm like, stop to the Uber driver. I was like, I need to take a picture.
So cute, Erica
and
Cox.
had I been walking, I would have taken a picture in front of it, but
So
I was in the
cute.
car, so I took the picture.
I just want to know what his law firm looked like in your head before. Was it like a
Like a-
CVS?
like
It's now a
mahogany.
plasma bank.
No,
I thought like an
mahogany.
older, like, woody,
Yes.
oaky type
Leather
of
goods.
Yeah, but
Chesterfield
no.
couch.
That's
yeah.
what I have from my
Yeah,
dad's office.
it's very chic, very
That's
chic.
really cool.
So yeah, so
Would
yeah,
you
we
walk
had-
in there and just be like, "We're about to win"?
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
yeah.
That's really funny.
So yeah, so we had such a great weekend. On the way back, I got diverted from DIA to Colorado Springs. Yeah, apparently there's something that happens when the winds are super high. They're called bursts. And no plane can land and no plane can take off. So they diverted us to Colorado Springs. We sat on the tarmac for 2 hours.
God.
And then someone came aboard and was like, so if you want to get off here, you're welcome to. Basically, it was going to be another hour before they were going to take off. So that would have been 3 hours. And I would have had to go back to DIA and then 45, 50 minutes home. So I got off the plane, and guess what Colorado Springs doesn't have a ton of?
Like
Ubers?
Uber.
Oh,
So I had to
we
wait
guessed right.
for 25 minutes to get an Uber. Meanwhile, I pull up my Lyft app, which I haven't used
I love
in
Lyft.
literal years.
I always use Lyft.
I get a car, and then I realize that my name doesn't match the name on the Lyft. Any guess of whose name was on my list?
Your sisters?
No.
Al Jackson?
No.
Tory Shulman?
No.
Okay.
This is the most random thing ever. I still have to text her to be like, what is going on? I keep forgetting.
I'm like trying to think.
Is it Sam?
No. Lauren Mack.
Whoa!
Beloved
Yes.
friend of the show, Lauren
We
Mack.
love Lauren Mack.
Yes,
She-
love Lauren. But I
this-
almost created, I almost had fraud on her account. I have no idea
Oh, weird.
how her Lyft account ended up on my phone.
And 6 of your credit cards, Erica. I mean, I still believe you.
Seriously, and it had all of her account information on it.
Dude.
Yeah.
Like her credit card information?
Her credit, not the full ones, but each, the credit cards that she had on there.
That's
and
insane.
yes.
I wonder if that's when we all went out that one time.
But did she put her Lyft on
I don't know.
That's so weird.
That is so weird.
on my phone?
That is so
because
weird.
I haven't used it since. So the guy was like, I can't take you because he's looking at, and I was like, well, I don't want you to take me. At that point, I didn't realize that it was someone I knew. I just thought something happened with the account. So yeah, so this amazing gentleman came to pick me up and drove me an hour and 20 minutes home on Sunday night. So it was quite the eventful.
I would hate that.
Yeah, I was so glad
I'm so
I
proud
packed
of you.
carry on though.
Yeah, smart
I-
lady. Because
I
it's
had
not there.
a similar situation, or I was facing a similar situation like that this weekend in Chicago, only I didn't end up getting the lift, but it ties in perfectly to my weekend. I had shows in Chicago this weekend.
Bravo, Mazel
Yeah.
Tov.
Shout out, had the best weekend ever. Sarah flew up on Saturday. Got a chance to see me do one of my favorite shows, which is the Paper Machete. It's a daytime salon show. It's
Oh,
like
wow.
it's a long explanation, but it's
Whoa.
really cool. And then I did 4 shows at the Comedy Bar. But before that, the Thursday show that I did was for SROA's.
Standing room only?
That only.
Yeah, that's
you
what
put-
SRO stands for.
No, but then I put A.
Standing room only, asshole. I'm just kidding.
There we go.
Good times.
You guessed the second time's the charm. No, student resource officers.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
They're like the police, that are at schools. But no, call them whatever. Have at them.
So
This
sorry.
is Tory Showman
I really
here.
respect student
Tory-
resources.
There's no good cop showman.
I'm so sorry.
I
love it. I'm so sorry.
I will be as quick as possible. I got to Chicago. I took the train down because it goes straight to it was a place called Normal, Illinois. That's the name of it.
Yeah.
Shout
I
out.
know
Yeah.
Normal.
So I went
Normal?
to Normal.
That's ISU.
That's where
No
that's where
way.
ISU Illinois State is there, and State Farm's headquarters is there.
Was
so
Jake there?
yeah.
so he probably has been there. Everybody in the town works for State Farm.
Yeah.
And
You
so
got it,
I
Jake.
took the train down. The show was amazing to the point. It needs to be said. I swear this is going to sound like a lie. Like, and then the prostitute gave me my money back. It sounds like such a lie. When I got done with this show at the Normal Theater, shout out to Drew and everybody at the theater, it's beautiful. The crowd waited outside and they clapped for me when I came.
Isn't that great?
I was like, what is
love
happening?
Oh my
That's what happens when I leave my apartment every day.
Isn't that Erica? I was like, what is this? It's like it harkened back to that phone call we had and just like all that stuff. So
yes.
I just casually mentioned, I was like, man, I might have to take an Uber back to Chicago tomorrow because Amtrak was sold out and all the car rentals were sold out. These police officers were like, if you don't mind riding in the police van,
Shut up.
we'll take you back to Chicago. They drove me back in the police van.
No.
On the way. And
Wait a minute. Wait, were you like locked in?
Yeah,
in the
were
back?
you
I was
racially
handcuffed,
profiled?
but no. I would have gone handcuffed. I'd be like, are you sure? No gas money? I can't get my wallet.
Yeah, I would go too.
Yeah, no,
That's
they were. I
amazing.
just like it's interesting because the guys ended up taking me back because it was a conference they were having there. The night before, when I was walking back to the hotel, I ended up talking with them like in the circular driveway of the hotel for like 30 minutes.
The police?
Yeah, I mean, just some really cool, like really dope dudes. And I think I told Tory this. It was like one of the most beautiful things for. As much as the cops get, a lot of it deserved, some of it not, just like everything in the world. This cop was like, yeah, we're police officers, but we're police officers that hug. We're around kids. And I was like, that described their vibe.
Yeah.
And just like the warmth that I was greeted with. I was like, what? They started clapping. I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like,
This is
we
normal
can't accept
Illinois.
love. Get away from me.
No, but it is. It's very. I mean, it's the Midwest, and we're Midwest people. I spent 4 summers in Normal, Illinois, because my mother was getting her doctorate. And it was an extended program because, some children had to be born during that time. But, we spent a lot of time there. And it is like it's a small town, very community feel. Obviously, the university is there. So I'm glad. That's amazing.
I had a great time. And speaking of good news, you got some?
I do. Julia, by the way, says, thank God it wasn't an ice van.
Yeah.
Way to be on point.
Yeah, I will say this, though. They showed me it was a SWAT van. And it was interesting because the back seat faces back so they could jump out the back of the van.
Way.
Super interesting. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, isn't that bananas?
That's what, like an hour and a half drive, isn't it?
Yeah.
2 hours, maybe?
Wow.
Yeah, about 2.
Did they put on music like Bad Boys, Bad Boys? Just the cops.
No, they just listen to music.
Okay,
They're
sorry.
just people in their off time.
Okay, sorry. I'm so sorry. I've
They
really
were just
been
twirling their guns the entire ride. Yes. Practicing putting it back in
Oh
the
my God, that's funny.
All right, Tory, talk to us.
All right, guys. Well, good news is I got a little thing called a job offer.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
Oh my
So,
God.
So
as
happy
we
for
talked
you,
about,
baby.
I don't know if you guys know, but tonight is supposed to be the luckiest night of the whole year. Jupiter is in like a perfect
For everybody?
For everybody.
But then it's not luck.
June
luck has to
24th
be-
is the day of miracles.
But
so
then it's not for everybody. It's just something that happened.
you're not welcome in this
Yes.
set, okay? So anywho, I will be on TV again at our
Yes.
old DBL studio.
Oh my gosh.
Where I used to have all my hiding spots. And it's going to be at Colorado and Company, you guys. So if you're in Colorado and Denver, you'll see me 5 days a week and talking about what's going on locally. I'm really excited.
Does it stream?
I think it streams, yes. If it doesn't, we will be making sure it streams. Our biggest competition
Good to know you're already putting your foot down. You just got the offer.
is
There will be changes.
There will be changes and firings. But I'll be next to Sam, who's right in the 9 News
Yeah.
building. I know Steve Gallagher. I know Moss and Adam, the guys who run the cameras. We go to Friday night beers all the time. And I know Risa, and I know everybody.
And
So-
you'll know me.
amazing.
I'll be outside the gate screaming, "Let me in too."
Oh my God.
It's not good.
Wait, but who's your biggest competition?
The price is right.
Oh.
Price is wrong, B. I'm just kidding. I'm so sorry. Thank you, everyone, for saying
I'm
that.
so proud of you.
That's
So thank you.
amazing.
It's a
That's
part-time
amazing.
gig. I do need another for
Everybody
income.
has 12 jobs.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
need another
exactly.
gig, but
Yes.
it gives health insurance, and so I'm really excited.
Yay.
That's a big
guys.
deal.
You know, I've been saying when you make decisions,
When you heed the call, is what Erica told me on my
Yes.
call. I had my own call with
then
Erica.
things are going to come in for you, and it takes changes, and you have made those changes, and I think that you are in just exactly the right place that you're supposed to be. And just know that, like, Judy is with you just all the time. And this is so amazing. This is what you wanted. And I'm very, very happy for you.
Yes.
I like being
And
on
our
live
last
TV.
bit of news is we've been blabbing, but all that need to be discussed. Such great things. Tory and I are finally starting our show tomorrow.
Yes!
We came up with the title Friends from Work.
Yes.
Which is what we are. And just like we got Night Owls here, we're going to call our viewers colleagues.
Our colleagues.
Yeah, so
Yes.
colleagues, join us tomorrow on Friends from Work. We will send out like exactly how to get the show. But
Well, it's
gonna
on this
It's going to be
YouTube.
on the, yeah, so I
Yes.
mean like the link and everything. But it's on this YouTube, 3 o'clock. Yes, Judy is busting right now.
Thanks, Julia.
That's
That's
right,
really
Julia.
thoughtful.
I love our Night
I
Owls.
love
Yeah.
them too.
Thank
Well,
you.
now
saying
your
that.
night owls are going to be your colleagues
That's
because
right.
it's on this YouTube channel. So you guys are going live, right?
Yes, it's live every day at 3 p.m. Mountain Time.
Okay, 3
Mi-
p.m.
Michael
Mountain, 4
Dean,
p.m.
no?
Central.
Not every day.
Oh, okay.
Monday,
Monday-
Wednesdays, and Thursdays.
Yes.
Yes.
Any
so,
day that this show isn't live.
That's
right. That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm so happy.
We're going
I'm
live
so
tomorrow?
happy.
Yeah.
I'm excited. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to work.
Sounds like Tori's ready.
She went from like, I need a job to, wait, I have to work
too.
every day?
I'm really excited. Woo. Okay.
All right, let's get into this.
Yes.
Because been quite the week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the week started with this weekend. We first got the news that we conducted military airstrikes on Iran. That was usually, as long as I've been alive, just 47 years, announced, by a White House press secretary on ABC. But instead, Trump went on Truth Social to let us know that we are probably in a war. I would assume Iran believes that they are in a war with us. So I wanted to get your thoughts on not only, Trump went on, he dropped F-bombs on television. He misspelled his name in one of his tweets. Erica, what were your thoughts when you found out that we were again going to war in the Middle East? Did you think it was 2003?
No, I think that now more than ever, we are in a battle for resource. War is always about resource. It's always about the commodity. It's generally about who owns it, who has the rights to it, how much countries are being charged. Like, it's all about resource. It's a battle of resource. My question is to Tory, because a lot of people are talking about how this was essentially a unilateral decision.
We should discuss this.
And what's the implications of that?
I so appreciate you. So I'm going to take these two DK coasters, and I'm going to show you like your 5. So this is called the War Authorization Act, okay? Super important. The president, where's my camera? Are these all my cameras? The president has 90 days to use the War Authorization Act without Congress, okay? So usually when we start a war, the president walks over, and these guys are super good at starting wars, a lot of money, and usually they go with the president. Now, what Erica just said is so important because unilaterally in the executive branch, he decided to drop bombs on Iran's nuclear sites, we think, and start a nuclear war site war. Instead of a war with Iran, it's with Iran's nuclear program, is what they're saying. Do we think he should have gone to Congress? Yes, 1,000%. You want to have the branches in unity when you start something like this. To have someone do it on their own, although legal for 90 days, is scary because you're not getting what you think is the purse strings and all these other people. So we're starting off with someone kind of using their own power to do it themselves. Iran says they still have uranium. Now, we never know where Iran's uranium program is, the enrichment program. Trump says he hit 4 sites and knocked them out of the water. Iran, this is Iran, although they probably don't drink alcohol in Iran. Iran says that their sites are still up and the uranium is still working. But do I think it's a bad idea to bomb Iran? Not necessarily. But do I think it's a bad idea to do it unilaterally? Yes, I do. Does that make sense?
Yes. What I want to ask you, why do you think it's maybe not a bad idea?
I think there is a nuclear problem with Iran. I think Iran and Israel have a real issue. And I think at this point, he's trying to stop a war in the Middle East from going nuclear. Now, the most ironic thing that you can think of is that eventually this war ends and Trump himself wins some kind of Nobel Peace Prize for stopping the war by dropping bombs. This is an actual problematic issue that might take place.
Well, there is a ceasefire in place,
Right.
And
I heard
that's
that's
what
already
he
been
dropped the
broken.
F-bomb about this morning because he was upset because both sides were seeming to break the ceasefire.
So
Yeah.
will the ceasefire hold is what they're saying. In my mind, oh, that's what you wrote. The idea is no, it won't. In my opinion, Just Me's Fun Hub says Iran's using a peace agreement to bide its time so it can figure out what it wants to respond. So again, I don't think it's a horrible idea that we take control of Iran's nuclear sites. Do I think Bam Bam over here doing it unilaterally is a super bad idea? Yeah, I'd like Congress involved.
Erica, what
Yeah.
do you think?
I just want to call to everyone's attention that Tory said two things to circle back to my original, not even opinion, just like look over here. Don't like get jaded by what's happening over here. You mentioned nuclear energy and you
Totally.
also mentioned uranium.
Yep.
If you look at the prices of uranium in the past few years, you will notice how much value uranium has garnered in the past few years.
It's
This is
extremely rare.
Yes, and but also mining of uranium, like if you got in 3 years ago on like buying stocks for uranium or behind like the mining of uranium, you're likely seeing some profit that isn't going to be highly affected by the market. I mean, the same with any energy source, like you're talking about commodities basically. So yeah, war is always about a battle of resources.
Okay. Well, I will say this, and
Was my explanation okay?
it was
No, that's
great.
great.
It was
So
a lot. I was waiting
thankful.
for you to pick
Thank
up a
you
sock
all.
puppet.
Okay. This is Lamb Chop.
I-
Lamb Chop has nuclear power.
I will say this. I'll push back on your Iran take.
Please.
You know, they are really the only country in the region besides Iraq that does not have nuclear weapons. As somebody that obviously
That doesn't have nuclear weapons?
That they do not.
Iran, we are unclear if they do.
Iran definitely does not.
They claim that they have uranium enriched program and nuclear sites that
but
could be used.
no, but that is not a nuclear weapon. They were at 60%. You need to be at 90% to be able to be able to create a nuclear weapon. Under the Obama administration, they got Iran to come under agreement to not build a nuclear weapon. Trump undid that, and at the same time, with the threats and the fighting back and forth with Israel, it's playing out in real time why people want a nuclear weapon. When the nuclear weapon is the reason that people don't mess with North Korea. It gives you protection. When you are not protected with a nuclear weapon, you can be bullied and you can be bossed around the way that they are. Now, I will say this, for the fact that they do not have a nuclear weapon, I do think that it was quite telling that in the viral exchange between Ted Cruz and
Oh my God. Tucker
did you see
Carlson?
that?
Who
Did you
knew
see that?
Tucker Carlson would-
Tell our
Okay.
viewers like what happened.
It was just a discussion about Iran. and
on Tucker's show on
Tucker's
X, I
show,
believe.
and he went back and he said, "Hey Ted, how many people live in Iran? What's the population?" And Ted Cruz flippantly, almost with his phone on, said, "Oh, I don't know. Why would I know that?" And Tucker Carlson was the voice of reason.
Did you see this, Cop?
It was
No.
crazy.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
he goes, "How would you not know that answer?" And he goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You're asking to bomb this entire country and you don't know the population at all?" And then he goes, "All right, Tucker, what's the population?" He said something like 92, or he said whatever, 92 million,
yeah.
I think. And it was so odd that Tucker Carlson just like called out Ted Cruz.
And well, then he goes,
for
and then
being so
what's the
obtuse about
ethnic makeup of it?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, Shia.
Yeah, the Shiites, the Sunni, like you don't have any idea about this? Very interesting.
And
Well,
that-
it makes
please.
it makes sense because people are talking about, oh, Iran was bombed. The people were bombed. But so if you can't, of course he wouldn't know anything
It's so
about the
embarrassing.
population because you would have to look at the population as if there's no humanity
Right,
there.
right.
So that tracks.
which allows you to drop bombs.
Which allows you to
Exactly.
drop, but to not know and to so emboldenly, casually say, "Why would I know?" Because you're about to drop enormous bombs. It was
you
very
know what
strange.
example I gave to my girlfriend Sarah, whose birthday it is today. Happy birthday, Sarah! I love you. Sorry to bring you up during the Iran story, but you know what I told her was, if I was like, "Hey, Erica and Tory, these girls grabbed my wallet and my phone, and they ran into that house. Can you go get it for me by any means? And you guys would be like, well, how many people are in that house? I'm like, I don't know. There could be 20 people in there. There could be 2.
They could be armed. They could not be armed.
Imagine
right.
how flippant I would have to be with your safety.
Yeah.
To tell you to do that. I mean,
Totally.
it was really shocking, and I'll bring this story in for a landing. But I'll say I want to end it on a personal note. The person that brought me down to my show on Thursday was a guy that I've known for 12 years. I met him early in my career. He owned a comedy club in Normal, and I met him when he was still a single guy. His wife was some of the wait staff. They hadn't even really met yet. Now they've been married. They have 3 kids. But he did 3 tours, 36, 38 months were his last 2. And, his base was attacked. Shells went off around him. And he said to this day, 4th of July, he still has PTSD. And the first one, it was really bad. On my way back in the police van with these 3 great guys, we're talking about everything, sports, being married, whatever. And one of the guys that was driving was just casually, he wasn't even talking about his person. He was like, well, with my PTSD, cops can't do this. So this is how I found out ways to relax and calm myself. But just the people at the beginning and end of my journey, both are still affected by what horrible, illegal war crimes that we committed 20 years ago. And we're so ready. Let me take that back. I will say this about America. And for as much as we have issues and we're pretty united on this, there's not a lot of people that want to go back to war. That is not a popular issue.
Can I say one thing?
That's the one thing I will say our country, as opposed to when Iraq, even though there's nothing
right.
to
Bush
bum
famously
them,
did that.
I think we learned our lesson, and that's why
Bush was a big war hawk.
Even Marjorie Taylor Greene is like, do not.
So this upset the MAGA. I want to be very clear. This really pissed off. Excuse me, I shouldn't say pissed off, but the MAGA doesn't
Didn't
agree
you say
with this.
a-holes?
Yeah,
Well, half of MAGA.
Yeah, there's a lot of MAGA that is not happy with this. And I will say that Trump, I don't like anything he stands for, but Trump himself has never been into war. He doesn't like war. He finds it chaotic. He doesn't even like guns. So for him to do this is interesting. But I want everyone to know, I don't expect him to be in this very long war. This seems like an attack and get out, which is his style anyway. I just wanted to bring that up.
That's what he can quote unquote control.
Yeah.
You
Totally.
can't control the response.
Correct. And Iran is.
And the truth is, for every
That's right.
action
That's right.
is an opposite reaction. So, and I think the 50% of MAGA feeling like they don't want this also has to do with the fact that it personally affects them.
Right.
Yes.
Like if you think about the population of men and women, they, them, he, her, in service, as well as the MAGA population, there is an intersectionality
Sure.
there. So
Fair.
it always
Not at
comes
Trump's
down
parade.
to
Yeah, the
well,
trans
yeah.
people are now
but
out.
it always comes down to how it personally affects you, and that's what we're seeing in those numbers.
and-
I agree with that.
And Erica, you just said it so succinctly.
I said it good too.
But
But
you,
you said
you
it well.
did. But I will. What Erica said, I was listening to this old rapper from the Ghetto Boys. His name's Willie D, and he has a podcast. And he said something that was so. I always say brilliance is very simple, but he said, where I'm from, I always have to tell my homeboys because if somebody does something to them, they're always telling me what they're about to do. They're like, oh, he's at the club. I'm about to do this. I'm about to roll up on him. But he says no one ever goes, what are they gonna do?
Right?
And
Yeah.
Trump is like, we're just going to go bomb and get out. Oh, are you?
Right.
Yeah, that'd be just like me saying, you know what? I'm just going to go inappropriately
Touch a woman's
brush up
ass.
against this woman at this
Right.
nightclub, and then I'm
That's
just going
right.
to walk away. But that's my plan. If you're with Anthony, I could see that plan changing.
Yeah.
I could see that plan changing,
Swift.
Erica.
Swiftly.
Real swift. And so I want
Taylor
everybody to be with Taylor Swift. So yes, I hope everybody, whenever somebody says, well, here's what we're about to do, it's like, what do you think? Iran is just sitting around playing an old Atari gaming system we don't know what to do. They've been getting threatened for a long time. They are in a very tumultuous region of the world. They were ready for this.
And guess who doesn't care about their citizens? Iranians, the regime of Iran right now.
I don't know. I don't want to go that far. I don't know anything
I do.
about
It's
it.
a terrible place to live under the regime. It's not comfortable.
I
will go that
I
far.
would look. I don't
I know
know.
several Iranians that are very uncomfortable with the regime there.
Well, there are huge people coming out to support the government.
And but again, even let's say what you're saying is exactly true.
The Iranian government's not comfortable
but
to be under.
being attacked is a lot like when somebody gets canceled. The people, even if they weren't fans of you before, they're just like, oh, you're coming at us. Now they
I'll
all
protect
fall
you.
in line. So it's in a weird way being very counterproductive to what
True.
the U.S. may be trying to do.
True.
Speaking of things that kind of don't make sense on paper, ladies, my esteemed friends and colleagues, did you see this story where Republican Representative Kat McCormack, who is pro-life,
Very pro-life.
yeah, well, everybody's real pro-life until they need an emergency abortion like she did. She had an embryo growing outside of her uterus, which is life-threatening, which a lot of people know or have loved somebody that has gone through one of these pregnancies. It's very scary. But Florida, the Sunshine State, has a 6-week ban that made medical professionals very hesitant, and they finally conceded and gave her the procedure. I wonder if she wasn't in that position, whether they would have given in. She says it was an absolute fear. It was absolute fear-mongering at its worst, McCormack told the Journal. There will be some comments like, well, thank God we have abortion services, even though what I went through wasn't an abortion. So I know.
Yeah. So what you're talking about is an ectopic pregnancy.
Yes.
It was this time last year that I suffered an ectopic pregnancy. And I can tell you that, one, it's a situation that no one wants to be in, to get that line, but not really have that line, and then know that there's nothing that you can do to have a viable pregnancy. So I do want to say, regardless of her hypocrisy, my heart does go out to her as a woman and as someone who was pregnant, because that is just like, it's a very difficult thing to go through. And the actual expelling of the pregnancy, which is, that's the part where I've been very vocal about from the beginning of talking about this with the reversal of Roe v. Wade. When you expel a pregnancy, now we're getting into semantics. She didn't have a quote unquote abortion. She expelled the pregnancy. But the truth is, in order to expel a pregnancy, then the measures are that of a surgical or, emergency abortion. It's the same thing. Like you can call it different things, but at the end of the day, it was a medical need for the pregnancy to be terminated. And it was the difference between the life of the fetus and the life of the mother. This is something, especially because my husband and I have been on our journey for gestational carrier, and, I'll talk more about that later. But when you're talking about these things, especially with someone who could potentially be carrying your embryo into a viable pregnancy, that's one of the first things. Her life, although I only would know this person in matter of like weeks or months, but her life is the priority. If something happens, then that's a very difficult thing to know that, like, this is a very precious embryo. We've worked so hard for this. But if something happens to the carrier, she has to be the priority because she is the life right now. Like that, it's just the way it is. So when people want to play the semantic games, again, when it affects them personally, then I really do struggle to even hear what this person has to say, because at the very core, it's BS.
It's so obviously BS. I don't know. It'd be like somebody saying, oh, he didn't die because I shot him. He died because of lack of blood loss, and his heart stopped beating. So really, it was kind of his body. Yeah. He was alive after I shot him. Yeah. Like, it's such a insulting matter of discussing something where she had the one chance in her life to not be disingenuous, and one of her PR cronies went to ChatGPT and said, how do I put some BS spin on this? And here we go. It's just the fact that her constituents don't hold her accountable is why people like this exist in our politics. So, Tori, do you have anything to say before we move on?
Just very quickly, I wanted to give out some shout outs. Nick, can you go back a little bit? Is it possible? I know Lee said, yes,
I think
Erica.
it's possible, Tori.
Oh, shut
okay,
up.
all right.
How? Yes, Erica, I went through it in my 20s. I just want to give some credit for people being open about it. Julie Ward said my daughter had to give birth at 25 weeks because it was going to kill her. And Nick, if you can scroll down, I think that baby is now 1. Yes.
Yes.
I can't believe she's going to be 1. She's 13 pounds. So
Yes,
mazel
Julie.
tov on that. I just want to really quickly just say that people like this, who after they have what is a medical reaction and then don't understand the gift they've been given and give it to their constituents, are the height of hypocrisy and should be voted out of Congress.
And
That is the height. They get what they get because they are congresswomen, but they don't want to give it to their own constituents. Shame on her.
But that's the other
Shame
thing.
on
When
her.
we talked about Roe v. Wade getting overturned, what was the number one prevailing sentiment?
That the votes aren't there. The country doesn't want it.
Well, no. Yes, but also, sorry, yes, and
you're right.
The fact that the people who are voting against this or voting against Roe v. Wade are the same people who will always
Always be
have
able to have it.
access to
Yes.
safe
Yes.
abortions.
Yes,
they
they
will.
will.
Their mistresses and their daughters, they will always have a pathway. It's not them.
Yeah,
So yes,
it's
they
called
can
my
definitely.
daughter's taking a semester off of this. she's
Yeah, my
taking a
sister's going
semester.
away for a little while.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Italy, I think.
Yeah, right.
It makes me think those 80s movies where it's like a mean guy, he's like a Wall Street mean old guy, and he has a heart attack, and he gets a second chance at life, but he comes back and he's like, I want to be a good guy now. I want to he's like breakdancing with the kids. It's 83. He's like, I'm going to be a good person. But instead, that movie is just like, he comes out and he doubles down.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to destroy all of the youth centers. That's what every break-in
Yeah.
movie was about, was to save money for the youth center.
Totally. And they had that big red thing
Yeah,
that would go up.
you had to mark off somebody. It'd be like, now you look at the price. It's like, we need $3,200. That's my rent, unfortunately. Yes, but it's so crazy that
It's so hypocritical.
even with that life-altering event, which is what most people credit for saving their life and showing them what's important, she came out of surgery and was like, who is my best bullshitter?
Yeah.
Let's move on
Yeah, I
to
agree.
something.
Shame on her.
Something fun. What a dirtbag.
Yeah.
I said it.
I heard
Can
you.
you say dirtbag?
Yeah.
Well, I said the other word, so yeah.
Yeah. What? Pissed?
No, the other one. Don't say it again.
Okay. Oh, don't say it. What, is YouTube going to take our channel down?
No, but someone was like, "You cursed, Tory," and I'm like, because I come off as a preppy, whatever. Let's move
You're
on.
drinking a
Do you?
Moon Tucky right now. You should have a Winston-Salem out of your mouth and be yelling about your no good nephews taking your truck.
Get off the lawn! Get off the lawn!
All right. So this is very interesting. Talking about the Gen Zers. That's people between 1997 and 2012 are having less sex than previous generations. Young people are learning about sex through porn. And
Oh, God, guys,
and
don't learn through porn.
Because of the lasting impact of #MeToo on girls and I would say young men. The trend of young men moving to the right feels and then that sparked the trend of young men moving to the right and feeling demonized. So Me Too made Gen Z men say everybody's against us. I'm going to vote right and I'm going to walk in the
Isn't
streets.
that so interesting? Just to stop there, and then I'll let Erica speak. I'm so sorry, but the idea that Me Too, which was about women's or people's power victimized by sexual harassment, was overtaken by straight white males who were like, but me too.
It's enough irony
Like,
to
what?
stop a charging bull.
Totally. Like, are you joking? You've taken over
Amazing.
everything, and you then try to usurp the Me Too movement. Like, to me in DC, everyone in Georgetown that goes out to the clubs, they aren't getting
Big
laid.
club scene in Georgetown.
Sorry, the bar scene. They're not getting laid. You know why? Because a ton of them are MAGA, and they're all saying, no girl wants to sleep with me. Oh, what? Maybe
Tell us, Erica, please try and articulate why you think most women don't want to sleep with men on the right. Because it used to be when we were growing up, my husband votes this, but I vote this. We still love each other. What do you think
Right,
changed?
I think that it was a branding issue because, it became libs and the snowflakes. And like what we found with movements like this, where you have men moving to the right specifically for this reason, because they feel like they were vilified in Me Too, is that they're soft. Well, no, because it's not that every cis male or cis white male falls in this category. It's that there is a percentage, and a large percentage, that do. But what about the ones who don't? Because that takes the ability to understand who you are, what you believe in, understand that in order to get respect, you have to give respect, and a flexibility of thought. If you're unable to be flexible, especially at that age, with your thoughts, then there are going to be repercussions for that. And I think a lot of women hear that, you have feelings that are anti-Me Too, and the first thing they identify you as is unsafe. And so is it shocking that women don't want to go home with someone who is unsafe? Like, that is totally up to you. And the good news for a lot of these young men, because they are very young, is that you have the ability to evolve. You have the ability to change that. And if you do so, then your life will probably flourish in ways that it isn't right now. I had to end a friendship because the idea, like, I am a person who knows that I have to evolve in order to survive. And for a long time, I wanted this evolution in this friendship. But if someone is committed to just being who they are in this moment for the rest of their lives, then that's my cue to exit stage left. And that's just the way that people are. Like, if you're evolving and you're around people who aren't, then eventually there's nothing in common. So those women, those girls that you might have gone to high school with, maybe gone to college with, and y'all were cool, and then Me Too happened, and you're like holding court, saying the antithesis of what they believe is the safety of themselves and their body, then that's the reason why you're being pulled away from, and you all are left on this island, apparently in Georgetown.
They're in Georgetown, and
the club scene in Georgetown.
They're lonely. I do want to just add Gabrielle Garcia, and is it Gabriel? I think it's I always say this wrong. Gabriel. Maybe it's the gadgets getting in the way. This is about porn and teaching. And Just Me's Fun Hub says it's high time someone created positive porn that can be used as sexual education. First of all, that's an awesome idea, but it's not the
positive porn.
I don't think.
Wait, what is positive porn?
I mean, like, it's not like this.
Well,
it's like actually like soft and wonderful and communicative and vulnerable.
That's
there
Lifetime.
is
That is awful.
The depiction of
your wife catches you watching that. Erica, would that be creepier than if you walked in and he was just watching some normal porn? As if like Anthony was like watching somebody say, "I knew when I saw you." You'd be like, "What are you watching?"
I mean, that is kind of romance novelty, right?
You're right. You're totally right.
Now, the author or the researcher, the author of the book "The Second Coming," which I find to be an amazing title for a book like this.
That's a great title.
Does reference the very rough acts that are depicted in pornography.
Yes.
And that people aren't feeling or seeing themselves or the ability to have community in that way with other people.
That's what the comment section's for. I think that's the lowest form of communication is the comment section on a porn website. That's below bathroom stall to me.
I mean, yes.
What if you're like, yes, I saw you again.
But also cited was the idea that during the pandemic, a lot of health care or health teachers, I mean, I know you taught sex ed,
right.
Al, when you were a teacher, either decided not to teach that course or they teach an amended version of it because of the feedback from the parents who could now hear what their child was being taught. And a lot of schools went the route of abstinence. Mm-hmm. Now, let me put my 10.
Yes.
That's what they're saying.
Parents were involved now in the
Full
pandemic.
circle. We're
She's
full
right.
circle back to abstinence. So here's let me put my tinfoil hat on, okay? Because the conspiracy theory is coming. Because what this will lead to, much like it did, I mean, this isn't the first time, this isn't unprecedented, it will lead to a baby boom. Because when people are uneducated about sex education, then they tend to get pregnant younger and the rate of STDs goes up, because when you're not acknowledging that you're doing something, then when you do it without any safety or any securities in terms of like contraceptives and stuff like that. So I believe that by making the younger generations less educated in sex, when we had gone to this sex positive, very understanding of sex movement, that it's to create a baby boom. Because what are people most scared of, apparently, especially with the reversal of Roe v. Wade, is that white babies won't be born anymore.
Might be a
Right.
brown country.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
So that's what's happening. So for parents who are especially very vocal about not wanting their children to learn sex education, just be prepared to be young grandparents.
Yes. Well,
Great
that's,
point.
Erica. What you're saying, when you were talking, I remember watching this.
Porn?
Yes, but it was the sensual kind. Yeah. So my porn starts with the guy opening her door.
Kind Japan says, from Tori's description, I don't think she's ever watched porn before. I have. Sorry, go
Yes,
ahead.
it's like, but it's porn your parents edited
No,
before they gave it to you.
I've seen porn and I'm like, this is what boys think is what turns
But there's
women
all
on.
different kinds.
No, but it's a lot of ooncha, 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 ooncha.
I don't know which kind you're watching.
The kind that everyone does. And let me just say one thing. Gadgets are not bad. Whoever said gadgets are killing it. Women, a lot of women like gadgets and can help them reach a second coming, if you will.
Guess where you can find those gadgets being used? On a porn site. Just like a lot of other things. Okay, so don't hate. I will say this as I've lost my point.
So sorry.
Okay, so we will. I was watching a documentary on Mormon girls, and there was a.
That's so sketchy.
That's what I was telling Sarah
That
before
is
she
sketchy.
before she burst in the door. I'm like, can you knock?
Wow.
Oh my God.
Mormon girls.
They were saying that they
Wow.
they are undereducated, and a lot of times because once they are in cases, even when they are assaulted, they do not have the language to even describe the physical body parts that they have that were assaulted.
Oh, wow.
Literally do not have the word
Wow.
P and V.
Oh, wow.
Like baseline.
They just don't even have that.
They don't
Oh,
have
wow.
any education. So how can
That's
you
so
press
sad.
charges if you
And
know
it's
nothing?
That's
by
so
design,
embarrassing.
Yes.
because they are
Absolutely.
absolutely bred
Yes.
to be
Breeders.
well and
To be traded
violated.
and-
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
That's
yes,
right. And Gabriel, I'm so sorry. You meant cell phones, not those gadgets. I apologize. I'm so sorry.
We
But
see
way
where-
to stick up for the gadget
I'm
story.
just saying, people should understand that.
I think they do now. I think we can go all on your site. Okay. Okay.
Sensual porn.
I don't. Let's
Okay,
do.
shut up, Jacob.
Let's clear the palette.
Yes.
We've done a lot of bummer stuff.
Yeah.
Let's clear the palette really quickly, and I'm gonna clear it for you, Erica.
Me?
As soon as Tory stops digging in her bag like a woman at the bus stop.
Sorry. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Erica,
Yes.
there's a tour. It's coming up.
Oh yeah.
Erica, do you know what the tour? Can you tell everybody the tour that's
The
coming
boy
up?
is mine. The boy is mine. The boy is mine. The boy is mine.
Whoa.
Brandy and Monica are going on tour. This makes my 1998 heart so happy.
Totally.
Brandy and Monica were one of the first feuds of our generation in terms of two young women being
Very famous.
very famous at the height of their careers, both in the R&B genre, I guess you could also say pop, and they were pitted against each other in order to create this feud, which then drove sales.
It's like the Britney Christina, huh?
Yes, but it also perpetuated
That's
the
a good
idea.
analogy.
Thanks so
Yes.
much, you guys. Thank you so much.
Very much so.
Thank you.
But I think the difference between Britney and Christina and Monica and Brandy is they never had like an actual beef. Like there was no personal. I don't
Right.
think they even at that time had really even
met?
engaged with each other. Like the story's very much like this was an industry beef. And if you think about historically how these industry beefs happen, they drive record sales. But what we don't talk about is how much these beefs, particularly with young girls, perpetuated the narrative
Yes.
that there could only be one. And basically they had to fight it out
Mm.
to see who was going to be the queen of the hill. And I love that in our grown ages, you know, women in our 40s, that they are coming together for this tour. I think that this tour is going to be healing
Amazing.
on a lot of levels. I think that it's going to bring people together because if you grew up thinking this, that there could only be one, how many opportunities for community and collaboration have you missed? And I think that this is one of the genesis, at least for us growing up, that really like made us feel that there could only be one.
That's a great
Right.
point.
And now we know coming together and the spirit of collaboration, because they both could have done they could have done great tours, you know, individually. But this tour is going to be massive.
It'll be
And I am
enormous.
so excited
This
to
is
see
going to
it.
be
And just
big.
so you guys know that Kelly Rowland will be opening along with Jamal Roberts, I believe, from the AI, which is American Idol, not AI, artificial intelligence. He's the winner. So they will be opening and being on tour. So congrats to everybody. It's going to be
Yeah.
amazing.
Now,
That boy is mine.
That's you just mixed poison.
Yeah.
With the boy's
Yeah.
mind. Tory, I'm gonna put you on the spot here.
Sorry.
Is there a dream concert that you would like to see similar to like the Brandy Monica, where it's got to be one of each, but both kind of they're similarly aged, similar trajectory, where you're like, I'd like to see them pair up.
Like a boys to men. I mean, like a boy band pair up, but I feel like that's happened.
That's
before.
how-
Yeah. I went to Boys to Men and was it New Kids on the
See,
Block
that's cool.
and Jagged Edge?
No,
That's
probably.
cool.
I think it was those three. Yeah.
I think I would like to see like. Oh, I thought Tom Petty's still alive. He died. May he rest in peace.
I put you on the spot.
Yeah, and I'm not. I have really crappy taste in music, you guys. I really just like.
Do you think that you can have crappy taste? in
Yeah.
music? I think that your taste is your taste.
My taste is very like white pop girl with not a lot of. She's like Jimmy Buffett, Dave Matthews, like Taylor
What?
Swift.
Yeah, they all have billions of fans.
Yeah.
That's true.
There's nothing like, don't get caught up in that. It's like, if you like it, you don't like it. If you like it, you like it. So don't ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
be
you don't
ashamed of
have
your
to be like, you
bowling
know,
alley
Beethoven
playlist.
is
Okay.
What about you? What would you like to see?
Oh, it's funny. It's when I asked the question, I was like, I don't know if I have an answer to this either. I would like to see JayZ and Nas
Totally.
go on tour together. I think that'd be really cool,
That's a great
especially
point.
because they had such a volatile beef, and they were the first. It kind of, in a weird way, reminded me of, like, I'm not trying to mute this experience by comparing it, but like the Cuban Missile Crisis, where it was elevating to the point where back then, I'm saying that the rhetoric between JayZ and Nas, when rappers would get to that rhetoric, somebody would get killed.
But there's no nuclear bombs.
I said that's
pointed
why I
at
said
them
I
in
don't want
Florida.
to. You know, I'm saying it was like
where are we?
it was like an
going
arms
with
race. They were
this?
talking about baby mamas.
All
They were
right.
talking about
Okay.
I slept with your. It's like
Did you see Beyonce bring JayZ out? In
Yeah.
Paris? That was cool.
no, I
He
didn't.
came out in
Was it
Paris.
similar to the Cuban Missile Crisis?
No, it was not.
It was more
But,
like
you know,
Bay of Pigs, you guys.
I was so mad though because I gotta find the video, but there's a video where I'm like, I keep like at the Cowboy Carter tour in Chicago, I kept putting my phone up because I was like, JayZ's gonna come out. JayZ's gonna come
man.
out. Like I could feel the moment that JayZ should have come out.
Yeah.
And I just knew it was gonna happen, and it didn't happen. So when it happened in Paris, I was like, I knew that was a moment to do it.
By the way, Julia, Paul Simon and just about anyone, I completely agree with you. Paul Simon and Garfunkel.
I think he's
He's not dead, Michael Dean, and that's
Okay.
really rude to
But
art.
you already threw out Tom Petty.
But that would be really, really, really exciting. And I think it's interesting that JayZ came out not for America, but for Europe. I think it says
Yeah, I
something.
know a lot of people are very upset about because it was JayZ, Miley Cyrus.
It was a lot of people.
Yeah.
Who were like,
Do you know do you know who should really be upset? Is all the people in Paris that were about to go to that show, but they were like, it's raining. You just did.
And then JayZ came out. He came out and it was so cool. The crowd went absolutely crazy.
Yeah, you got to be in a big city for that to happen because
Yeah.
there are already artists there. So that's why you go to a hip hop concert in New York anytime and somebody's there.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, let's bring this in for a landing. Guys, this is...
Oh, he performed the song. I don't want to say
Yeah,
it.
we won't
I'm not
say
gonna
it.
say
We
it.
all know
That's
You only
blank in
say it
Paris.
when the windows rolled up in traffic.
I do not ever say it, ever. Don't laugh. All of you are wrong to laugh. Stop it, Michael Dean. Hush, hush, hush.
I'm laughing at Al.
I love you, bro.
I love you too.
Tory would never say that.
I would never. Oh my God.
To tell any... Because people
God
need
forbid.
to know...
Poo, 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 poo.
Not that you ever would, but if you did, you would feel worse about that
Are you kidding?
than what anybody could ever say. Tory would like walk with that.
I would live in shame.
I
Oh
mean,
my
it
God.
would be like, yeah, I would be able to
never.
see it on your face.
I'm from DC. Like,
Yes,
no,
that
no,
would
no,
not.
no.
But would you say Chocolate City?
I don't know if I'm the right messenger,
You
but
can
Nah.
say- she can't say Chocolate City.
I do
No.
love. I do love that.
I
it is.
disagree with that.
No. Here's the thing about Al. Like, because you used to get a lot of flack for this on DBL. Because you're like, people would be like, you can't be inviting people to the barbecue. It's not that. It's not that. Al is like, I know this person. I know this person's heart. I know this person isn't black. But they're like, I know this person's heart. So I'm saying like, oh, if I heard you say that, I wouldn't be offended by it. But you are giving our friends an ill setup, okay? Because you're in the minority on that.
I'm gonna be in trouble.
And I don't want Tory walking around telling people she's from the Chocolate City, okay?
Oh, Cliff.
Like that's just not, you really setting her up for failure.
Yeah.
I get
And-
that.
And I need a
could-
lot of
I could see
success
that
right now.
perspective. But
Yes.
my perspective, even though I totally agree with you, my perspective is I see Chocolate City as a positive moniker.
Proud.
It's one of my favorite. So I don't, but now that you say coming out, but yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, she can't say that and not get.
Can you say brownish hue?
No hue. Someone else said Adele and Barbra Streisand. Wouldn't that
Ooh.
be fabulous?
Ooh.
Just
That's
no
good.
microphones, just belting.
I'm sure they
Okay.
prefer microphones.
Maybe
Yeah.
my
Our tour is canceled. They both blew their voices out the first night.
my
yes.
God.
All right. Last one. I'm going to get to
Hello,
this very quickly.
darling.
Guys, did we watch the NBA Finals?
No.
The finals were on.
Okay, so that's okay. Erica,
Did we win?
who was playing and who do you think won? I'm not going to correct
I
you.
do know that OKC won.
What's
I have
OKC?
no
Oklahoma
idea.
City?
Yes.
Way to
Who
go,
they
okay.
played. I have no idea who they played.
Okay. Tori, who do you think they played?
OKC definitely played Tennessee and won.
Okay. And how many points did Tennessee have at the end?
They had 101 and OKC had 117.
Okay.
And their forward was bad, but their point guard was on point.
Okay. Who do you think Tennessee's best player is?
Bless you. Tennessee's best player is James Browning. I'm so sorry. It's not. Who is the team? I'm so sorry.
Oh, no one better say the name of that. Nobody. Nobody.
I'm so sorry.
We're gonna end right there.
He just launched the ball and said, I'm gonna have a good time.
I love it.
Oh, if you don't love these two
God.
human beings,
Oh,
I can't
God.
help you. But you guys do show us
Woo!
mad love on the show. Let me show some love very quickly to our executive producer Michael Dean. We love you.
We love you, Michael Dean.
He's always
you.
so jacked over there, making me feel inadequate.
Yeah, he's always jacked.
Every time
you
I hug
guys.
him, I'm like, oh, is that what your back's supposed to feel like?
It's seriously,
Muscles?
he feels like concrete wall when you touch him.
Yes, and I also want to give a shout out, as always, to Dude, IDK, Nick, and Jacob. You guys holding us down. But also to you, Night Owls, for continuing to watch and support us. Damiana Michael Dean is the man. And with that, we're out.
Well, let's remind everyone.
Let's remind
Remind
everyone
everybody.
tomorrow, because I need to know.
3 o'clock, Julia Mountain Time. Wait, what? Michael Dean, you keep making a face.
That's 5 p.m. Eastern.
5 p.m. Eastern.
3 p.m. Mountain.
On this channel.
On this
live.
channel.
Oh my God, look what someone said. We could have had it all till I loved you. That's the Adele Barbra
You
Streisand.
interrupted.
I'm sorry.
our promo for our show debuting tomorrow. Finish what you were saying.
No, it's just
I will
great.
not say another word.
No, I think it's a
Talk
great
to me
idea.
about
I think it's great.
this imaginary.
It's for people who like show business or into this. I'm so sorry.
Well, if you're in the show business, you can watch our show. Trying to
Friends from work tomorrow.
me and Tory, obviously, we will have Erica on as often as we can steal her from her sketch.
That's right. And
But,
Michael Dean will be there as well.
Yes, of course. So check out Friends from Work tomorrow at 3 p.m. Mountain Time, 5 p.m. Eastern. Erica, we can check out Accidentally Informed.
Tomorrow at
Such shameless
wait a
promoters we
minute.
are on this show.
No, accidentally.
What?
Well, Accidentally Informed is 5 p.m. Central.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you can do 5 p.m. Central. Wait a
It's
minute.
6 p.m. Eastern.
6
hate
p.m.
time
Eastern.
zones.
Yes.
Okay.
So you can watch Friends at Work and then come over to Accidentally Informed.
There you go.
That's nice.
Yes.
We
That's
did it.
good.
And now that we are clear with the plugs.
Yeah.
And
we
by the
hope
way, the
you
Pacers
are.
won Indiana apparently was part
How'd
of
you
something.
fig? How'd you
Someone
fig-
wrote it in.
Oh, okay. No, we're going with Tennessee and James Browning. Guys, for Erica Cobb, Tory Showman, I've been Al Jackson. Night Owls, we're out.
Hoot hoot.